I don't know.
Yeah, well, if you
I clicked on friends, it says unfriend. I don't want to do that.
no, when you pull up his page, it should where his list of friends are. It should say
No,
comment or
he must have it privatized or something for only him or something. He wants to be in everybody's business, but he don't want nobody else being in his business.
Make sure you turn your phone down.
Yeah, make sure your volume's down.
Because he tells you the legal way to deal with feral cats.
Oh.
Because the idiots in Grovetown don't know what they're doing.
You want to switch me over, Mr. Bill?
I will.
Oh, you gotta put your head.
Friends are. It should say.
Nope.
Want to switch me
So
over?
we're already live.
We're live now. True. That'll never get old to me. Thanks everybody for tuning in to WCC 99.9 The Way. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and listening to us live on the radio. We want to give a shout out real quick to our sponsors because they're the ones keep us on the air for y'all every week. We want to thank Marco Electrical Services. We can reach out to Mark for all your commercial, residential, and industrial electrical needs. You can reach his office at 706-955-9836. And if you are looking for employment or know someone who is, you can reach, you can send out an email to marcoelectrical@gmail.com. Also like to give a shout out to 143 Ministries. That is Pastor Clifton Nobles over at the river. They meet at Good News Church at 400 Warren Road on Friday nights at 7 p.m. They're the ones responsible for KW, Emmanuel House, ICU, Fishes and Loaves, and His Hands. They're also doing church services now at headquarters. I don't know the exact address of that. I have to look it up. But it is, they start about 10 o'clock. They start about worship around 9:30, and then they have church service at 10 o'clock. They just started up last week, and Pastor Mark, Pastor Mike, and Cliff are rotating preaching there on Sunday mornings. So if you're looking for a church home on Sunday mornings, you can check them out at, like I said, at 10 o'clock. You can reach them at 800-560-7143, or you can check out their website at 143ministries.org. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Card My Yard. That's Julie's sign company. These are the, these are the special event signs you see posted up in people's front yards for birthdays or anniversaries or just a special event coming up. If you want something like that advertised, they can make up your own advertisement as well. It doesn't have to be a set special event, and you can make up your own saying or whatever you want to put out.
Dangerous.
It can be dangerous, absolutely. But you can reach, like I said, you can reach Julie at cardmyyard.com. Also, I'll give a shout out to NBIC. That's New Beginnings in Christ down in Garfield, Georgia. They are a men's and women's 4-month Christian-based recovery program. Let's see, it's free to these men and women to go through this, to go through NBIC, but they're always looking for people to get on board and help sponsor or make donations. Right now, it's running about, I think they said $600,000 a year to run the facility. So if that's an area you feel led to be a part of, you can reach them at mbicrecovery.org. They also have 17 services a week that are open to the public. You can come check them out anytime you want to. There is one every evening at 7 p.m. if you'd like to go check that out. Mike and Mark both speak down there once a month. If you'd like to ride down there with one of them one day to just check it out and just give them reach out to them and take a ride down there with them.
Because they like company.
They do like company. It's really cool. It's a really cool place to go check
Yeah,
out.
I haven't had the chance to go down there yet.
And last and not least, I'd like to thank Breaking Chains Fitness. That's my personal training facility in Harlem, Georgia. If you're looking for a personal trainer or just ready to get into some shape and or get out of a shape that you're not wanting to be in,
I was about to say, I'm a shape.
you can reach out to me at 706-533-5578, or you can check out my website at bc-fit.net. All right. Well, once again, we have got, excuse me.
Are you running any Christmas specials? Like, your hourly rate different because it's Christmas.
Well, maybe.
Like a Santa special.
Maybe.
Burn 2 calories for the price of 1.
Yeah.
Stop.
Well, funny you say that because, like, I'm not gonna say too much about it, but when I got this started, I got a word about what I was doing, and I didn't quite follow that word that was given to me on my business model. And I'm thinking about changing out my business model, but I'm praying about it and I'm reaching out to certain people that know here from the Lord quite clearly, and so there may be quite a discount come first of the year. Just if I change my business model, it's I'm feeling led that way, but I just want confirmation that I'm supposed to be doing. The reason why the gym was opened up was not for me to pay my bills with, so to speak. Granted, it's supposed to help pay my bills, but
Just
not.
give it away.
That's what I'm thinking of doing. Yes, and we'll let God have His hands with it.
This is the place for it because I was out there pulling bushes up, and that's what God told me to come in to tell the owners. I need to give some time away.
Yeah.
Just give it away.
Amen.
And people will come.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's where I think I'm going with it. So we shall see. And
I mean, God bless you.
God will provide. I know He will. Absolutely. But once again, we got Chuck and April Watkins back on with us. They were just on with us a couple of weeks ago, and if you were on with us when they were on, excuse me, last time, you can understand why we had them back on, because you can't tell his story in an hour. There's a lot to it. Obviously, there's a lot more people that didn't get to hear it the first time.
If I'd have known, we could have replayed it
Right before we got
on
here.
the air.
Yeah.
It could have been playing. I didn't know though. I didn't know.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, like I said, we got Chuck and April Watkins back on with us. Thanks for coming back on, guys.
Yeah,
So,
enjoy it.
Do you remember where you stopped last time, or can you
Well,
give a short recap to get people up to speed?
yeah. So I mean, I guess we kind of just barely touched on the point of when I went in the hospital and kind of why and where I was ventilated for 222 days. So but I think when we left off, Mike had asked a really good question about the multi-organ failure, so I kind of thought maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to hit on that just a little bit,
Go
kind
right ahead.
of let people understand. So I'm probably going to need some help on this, but
I don't think she's gonna be much because she looks like she's about to tear up right now.
oh yeah, well she knows all the details, so
you just got to speak up.
Might need her. Can you hear? Can you hear fine?
Yeah.
You can hear us fine? Okay.
so
You can hear us. They can hear you.
that's right. So yeah, I guess where we left off, I was just on the ventilator. It was about the beginning of October, I believe. Well, I think we had a little conversation about the first week or two of October. But just to kind of understand where the multi-organ failure is, basically everything shut down. I don't really know how to explain it other than my heart was, because of the lungs being so damaged, my heart was under a lot of stress and trying to survive on its own, but my kidneys completely shut down, liver shut down, liver enzymes were through the roof. I was moving, I don't really know how to put that in words, but I was not expelling anything. I hadn't eaten probably I want to say roughly 40 days. I hadn't had any
Wow.
food.
So your body just wasn't working. Period.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Right. I was on dozens of IV pumps trying to just keep what little bit of life there was left.
Mhm.
So,
And Joe, not to cut you off, but
Yeah.
real quick for the ones that didn't hear last time and don't know your story, this all came about from COVID.
right.
You went into
Yeah.
the hospital with COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
What hospital?
Doctor's hospital in,
So
in
you were there
Augusta.
the whole time?
No, I was at Doctor's Hospital for, I want to say I went from Doctor's Hospital to Select Specialties, which is an LTAC unit. I went there for 2 days. 2 days.
2 days.
I was there 2 days and then went into cardiac arrest, and they had to bring me back because I had chest tubes. So I was on continuous dialysis because my kidneys were down. I had the 2 IVs in my carotid. I already had the tracheostomy, and then I had the peg tube to feed. I had IVs down both arms, in the femoral arteries, and of course
Everywhere.
everywhere you could.
Everywhere that could be stuck. you were
Everywhere it was stuck, yeah, in the
Right.
hands, in the arms,
Wow.
everywhere. So,
Mhm.
so I had the 3 chest tubes. I had 1 on the left, 2 on the right. Throughout the couple of weeks there, they actually said I had 7 chest tubes, but I had 3, but they had to swap them. They
Oh,
kept
wow.
having trouble. So they had to keep taking them out, putting new ones in.
Mm.
So I had a total of 7 chest tubes. But they thought, for some reason, they thought that I could be moved to an LTAC unit, which is kind of another ICU, but out of a hospital. So they sent me over there. Within 2 days, I had cardiac arrest, and then she made the call, get me out of there, get me back to the hospital. So I went back, and over the next, I don't know how long it was, weeks, they started working on trying to get the chest tubes out. So they wouldn't transfer me back until all the chest tubes were gone. They couldn't take me. They could take me on the vent,
Right.
but they couldn't take me with the chest tube. I guess they learned
Mm.
they may not have been. They might not have been the right place for me to go. So eventually, I ended up going back to Select for.
6 weeks.
So
Not even 6 weeks.
right, so I was there for a while, and then ended up having another.
Coding event.
I coded again at another pulmonary event where basically it's choked to death.
Mm.
So they ended up taking me back to Doctor's Hospital.
So this is, I'm trying to add up.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a few months into this,
Oh yeah.
and they're switching you back and forth.
Yeah. The second time I
Only
went,
6 months actually at that point in time.
the second time I went back was in February. So when my cardiac event was. I don't remember
That
when.
was October.
So
So, yeah.
you were out of it.
Oh yeah. No, I was asleep until roughly April.
Dang.
Hey,
And,
I was-
and the whole time your April was losing her stuff because
Right.
I was just sitting here thinking that, I was like, you were out of it the whole time. So I mean,
Right.
granted, it sucked for him, for better
Yeah,
or
for
worse,
sure.
Right.
but you were out of it. April, on the other hand, was having to look
She
at
had
it
to
every
deal with
day.
It really sucked for her.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, I guess we could say semi-conscious because I do have brief memories of seeing people,
Yeah.
hearing voices,
Yeah.
but
And they give
It
you another
was-
shot to forget it.
right, I was not. It was not reality. So
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I ended up back at Select second time. Ended up back at Doctor's Hospital, and from there, I don't know what the circumstance was to get me from there, but they wouldn't take me back at Select, which was okay. And then they tried to find another facility they could send me to. So I ended up in Savannah.
Okay.
So I had to take an ambulance ride to Savannah. from what I understand, we took
Crazy.
6 ambulance rides from 7, including the one that took me to the hospital to start with. So,
I mean, I don't understand why they were trying to like get rid of you. Well, I understand it, but
yeah.
it still don't make sense to me. But
What was the
Well-
what was the logic to get him out of a doctor's?
specialized care, I'm assuming.
Because they was trying to wean him off the ventilator. So a long-term acute care also is a vent weaning facility.
Okay.
So, and honestly, I think they thought he wasn't coming home.
Right.
And that's
But
probably why they sent him there.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, you know, when God sent Jonah to Nineveh, it wasn't that God didn't know it wasn't like he didn't know he was going to get on the boat. He needed to save those people too.
Right.
So I kind of look at it like that. They sent me to select so that some ministering could be done there,
Yeah.
and then to Savannah, so in Landmark, so we could do some ministering there too,
Right.
and then come back. So there was, you know, I think there was a purpose for it. I don't, but I ended up in Savannah when I finally kind of came to, and they started taking me off the meds, and then I realized the only way I'm going to breathe on my own again is if I do it for myself.
Right.
There's nothing they can do, you know. So I eventually had to convince myself that I could do it. And,
Yeah, because your muscles were used to a machine doing it,
right,
so you lost all of it. I mean,
right. My diaphragm was
yeah,
completely
you were even
failed.
worse worse than a newborn.
Right.
You know, holy moly.
Yeah.
Mm.
You get so used to it, and then, you know, and then you're mentally, you know, all you got to do is tell them, just turn the machine back on and it'll do it for you.
Right.
So that became easy. I just can't do it. Turn the machine back on. And, and I mean, it wasn't like it was off. It was just I had to work.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so I had to train my diaphragm to operate again while I'm laying down. So breathing on your back is hard enough.
Right.
But when you have like no muscle function, like it's completely forgot how to do that job,
Yeah.
it's even worse.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it was training me how to breathe again 1 minute at a time.
Mm.
Realistically, it was the only way to go to the next step. You had to do it for 5 minutes,
Right.
and then 15 minutes, and then an hour. You know, so it was
That's the way it is when you.
right. So, but
And how long was that process from the time you started training yourself to breathe on your own again to the time you left the hospital?
The whole time.
so
Well, I mean, it was. I mean, was that 6 months, 8 months? I mean,
well, I mean, I guess it all depends on which part you're looking at, because
Okay.
I guess from what I understand, I tried a couple of times.
Yeah.
But I was so heavily medicated that I wasn't doing it for myself.
Yeah.
So, but so what happened was once I woke up and I knew what I had to do, they said, I asked my respiratory therapist, what do I have to do? And she said, you got to do 24 hours on the trach collar. I said, okay, so we'll start first thing in the morning. We'll try it. So I did 24 hours, and I was kind of proud that I did it.
right.
So I said, so what's next? She said, you got to do another 24 hours. So, okay. So I said, all right, we'll do it.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah.
But so I did another 24 hours. And then,
Now I'm assuming while you're awake, it probably was fine. But when you go to like if you dozed off,
yeah, it's
with
like,
your body not
Yeah.
knowing what
right,
to
you're
do.
not doing it right. So,
So
yeah.
you had to pretty much stay awake for 24.
Yeah.
or 48
well,
hours.
48 hours.
yeah. Well, and that happened several times where I would be doing just fine during the day, and then when I'd fall asleep, I'd wake up in the morning and I'd go, "Wow, how'd I do?" And they'd say, well, "We had to put you back on the vent in the middle of the night because it's like sleep apnea."
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm stuck on my back, which is the worst for apnea. You know, if I was on my side, it may have been different, but So yeah, that took several weeks.
Yeah.
You know. But once I made my mind up and prayerfully said, I got to do it. You know, I did the 48 hours. And then what was the next? Was it CAP trials or I can't remember what the next step was.
You had to do all those trials and then 48 hours on your CPAP or whatever before they could even remove the whole machine out.
Yeah, I want to say I had to do 48 hours of trach collar, which is basically
Breathing on your own.
breathing on your own, but it's still hooked up.
Mhm.
And then I'm having memory loss on that one, but it seems like I had to do another couple days. But they said if you do the 48 hours, then we can turn the machine off. I said, okay, well, we did the 48 hours, and instead of them turning the machine off, they just moved me out of the ICU and into a regular room for the first time in about 7 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was in the ICU for 226 days.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is a big step, getting moved out of ICU into,
Yeah,
into
that
a
was
regular
huge.
room.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So after that, I went from 100% this machine's breathing for me to walking a few feet
Mm-hmm.
with no oxygen in 7 days.
Amen.
Yeah. So I mean,
That's awesome.
It was huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it was not expected.
Yeah.
But it was just the only therapy that I got while I was there was I got up, I walked sideways on the end of the bed, and then he'd put me back in the bed.
Mhm.
And then he'd come back a week later, and then we'd go to the end of the bed and then the other end of the bed, and then back to the middle, and then I'd lay down. And that was a week.
Just once a week.
Once a week, every Monday morning.
Wow.
I hated seeing him. I did not want to see him. Like every time he'd come in, it's like, oh, this guy, he's going to make me work. You know,
But how were you doing through all of this? I mean, did you stop everything to go to Savannah to be with him,
I
or you
was
just
with
kind
him
of
the whole time.
the whole time? So
Yeah.
everything stopped.
oh, yeah.
I mean, do
Pretty
y'all have,
much. We have 3 kids, so yeah,
so hopefully you had a family unit.
we did.
Okay, good.
We had a friend took my son because he's the youngest. The other 2 can take care of themselves for
Right.
the most part. But yeah, even my oldest daughter had a family supporting her at the time. And my child, he was 12 at the time. A lady took him in so I could just go and be with him in Savannah. And a nice lady opened up her house and let me stay with her the whole time too. While I
Oh, in
was
Savannah.
in
Okay. Because I
Savannah.
didn't know if you used like Ronald McDonald House. Or,
No, we tried finding all that stuff and I couldn't find it. Nobody could help me out. So it was either stay at a hotel, and we didn't know how long,
right.
there was no time limit.
Yeah.
And so through Trace Diaz, I just put it out there. Does anybody know where I can stay? And they put me in contact with the lady and she opened up. I mean, she didn't even hesitate.
But God. Right.
Yes, absolutely.
They replaced the layer head for 2 months. Yeah.
So you were in Savannah for 2 months, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at what point through this process, I mean, obviously it was, for the longest, it probably looked pretty bleak for you. I mean, you just worried that your husband wasn't going to wake back up. But then once you started to make improvements, I mean, when did it hit you that, like, I mean, I think for me, there had to been a point where it would have been like, God's got a plan for me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I mean, he's got a plan for all of us, you know what I mean? But I mean, in reality,
Right.
that's not the final chapter for a lot of people. I mean, it is the final chapter for a lot of people that go into the hospital sick like that. And
Right.
you know what I mean? And when you're coming out of it, I would hope that there was a time when you're like, okay, there's a purpose for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if there was an actual a moment like that because I didn't even know I was sick. I
Right.
thought I was in a bad car accident. I didn't know I was even sick.
Wow.
I thought it was, I mean, for the longest time, it took a while for me to realize what happened, but I thought that I was in a bad car accident and my brain was working, but my body was gone
Wow.
because I was paralyzed from the neck down for so long.
Yeah.
That I just thought my body was damaged, but my brain was working.
Yeah.
So it took a long time for me to realize what even happened.
Right.
But then once I did, kind of had those clear moments. I don't know that there was a special moment that said that this is going to work or it ain't. You know, I tried to give up several times.
Yeah.
I really wanted to give up.
Yeah.
I was
I know
done.
that moment. I remember that moment
Yeah. I mean,
Really?
I was.
where I saw where he made a turnaround, and that's when his niece flew down.
Oh yeah.
And when his niece flew down, it's like something triggered. She took a plane all the way to Savannah to see him because she found out he was there.
Mm.
And they're the same age.
Okay.
I think she's a little older than
She's
me.
a couple months, almost a year older than me.
And they were real close. And so when she came down, that's like the light went off, and he pushed himself like to get up out of that bed.
Amen.
So did she give you a pep talk or jump on you?
God just knew you needed that little
Yeah,
spark.
maybe.
He needed that spark.
I mean, he just gave us an opportunity to talk.
Right.
You know, we hadn't seen each other. My brother, my oldest brother was her biological father. So we grew up cousins, niece, nephew, well, niece, uncle.
Yeah.
But you know, we joke about it now. When we were kids, she would never say I was an uncle, but now that we're grown, it's a little different. But,
Right.
yeah, but I mean, we kind of grew up in those young years like brother, sister.
Right.
Right.
So just getting to see her again, just kind of, it was like, hey, there's still people out there. You know,
That's right.
you know, I guess. I mean, yeah, I mean, I got to see a lot of stuff kind of in the background. So because I knew there was a big community that was kind of, you know, they were pulling for me, they were praying for me and all constantly. She would make sure I knew all the time the stuff was going on, but it just didn't register much. You know, so I guess that
Well, you had other things on your mind,
right.
you know?
Yeah. So
And
I guess
it's a lot of times when something's real close to you or you're used to, you know, hearing something like that, it doesn't register, it doesn't click.
right.
But you know, your niece coming in probably, you know, gave you enough like shock. Whoa.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And another time that I very much remember was his son. They let him come in, and man, they worked together. They worked together like no other. So they let, you know, in the hospital, and even in the very beginning, they wasn't supposed to let no kids up there at all.
Right. Yeah.
And so they made special arrangements for him to see them. And I think all throughout his journey, family is why he's still here.
Yeah.
God and family.
Amen.
Yeah. Because that was my biggest heartbreak for the whole COVID thing, was people dying with no one.
Right.
Not because if my wife had it, I wouldn't care. I'm going in to see her. You know, you better call security because I'm going in.
We'll be
you know,
prepared because
right? I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I had almost got to that point in the very beginning. They wouldn't let me in for like 19 days.
See, I never, not to say anything wrong with it, but I never trusted that because,
Right.
you know, because I've been to, well, nursing homes. Nursing homes, prime example. You know, family don't show up. They don't. I don't care what you say. You don't treat that person the same as family coming every day to check on that man or woman. So I don't like locked doors. You know, especially concerning family. Because I don't care. You know, my wife could have Ebola and bleeding out her eyes. I'm gonna be there to hold her. You know, I don't care. So I hated that.
It was rough.
Yeah, I bet it was. I mean, no one should have to go through that.
Right.
Okay, Chuck, last time you were on, did you guys talk anything about the business that you just started right before you got sick?
No, not really. No.
I'm talking about right
Like,
before.
yeah.
Oh.
So it's kind of a long story to go to that, but 10 days before I got sick, or before I started running the fever, I had just opened the doors for our kitchen. So that was, I mean, it was a vulnerable moment when I was, at the time, I was working salary for another company for a big plant. And the rule was if you ran a fever, you got 14 days off, but I worked remote a lot anyway. So it really wasn't a big deal. I could grab my stuff, my laptop, and I could work remote, and it wasn't a problem. It wasn't going to affect me. But I needed that 14 days off. I had just opened the doors to my kitchen. So like, yeah, give me 14 days where I can kind of,
heat over there.
yeah. So, I mean, I was like, so yeah, but we had just finished a little over 2 years remodeling a kitchen. We own the first shared kitchen in Augusta. Now there is a couple more kitchens that are operating, but we did have the first one. We just got licensed, got it opened up, like I said, 10 days before I got sick.
So
So
people borrow.
They rent.
they rent the kitchen.
Okay, so it's like a chef comes in.
Right.
He's got a huge order, and
It's set up for like bakers, caterers, private chefs. They come in, they use the facility, they take their food, or they can sell it in the front. We do have a retail space in the front. They can sell it there. That's not where most of our bread and butter is, but
right.
But there is the opportunity for them. But yeah, so it gets people that sell food like Facebook and all that. They have a place and the ability to become legal.
Right. Okay.
So they can become licensed.
It's called My Kitchen.
It's called Base Ops Kitchen.
Oh, Base Ops Kitchen. Okay.
Base Ops.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, so 10 days prior,
Right. We
you just opened up. You started feeling bad.
right.
And
And then 14 days off.
Yeah.
well, you got
Yeah.
18 months off almost, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't even. So I was in the hospital on the 7th of September. So we basically locked the building down, and we didn't go back in until probably October of 22. Probably a good 13 months later before we ever walked back in the building. So
Now, I hate asking, but I mean, your job, your company kept you on salary with insurance?
no, well, I got that. That's the funniest part of this whole thing. I never got sick ever, never. I had flu twice in my life. Never got sick. We did our open enrollment for insurance in April of 21. I think it was March or April. I'd always got short term. I was like, let me check out this long term disability. So I signed up for it. And then here, 6 months later, it kicked in just in time. And so we got my long term disability, which of course is a percentage.
Right, it helps.
Right. So it's
not enough, but
it's
better than nothing.
It's better than
Right,
nothing
right.
at all. So the whole time that I was in the hospital sick, she was dealing with all that, filing the paperwork for Social Security and all that. So she was doing all that stuff behind the scenes, and so we're still at a point trying to get to where I could go back to work, but my company doesn't. They don't need me. They've found other people to do the job now. So
Right.
Which after a couple of months of being gone, somebody had to do it. So
Right. But still.
right.
But as of, if I remember the conversation you and I had, December, you signed your first contract with the kitchen, right?
In December of 22. Yeah.
22, yeah.
Yeah. So we've
Got his
been,
first contract in there. Yeah.
since December of 22, we have created 25 small businesses in Augusta.
Amen.
We've helped create.
Right.
I mean, we're not take full credit for it. We've just, but we do everything from filing your LLC to doing, tax stuff and all the licensing and all
That's awesome.
the application. We're a one-stop shop. It's taken me 5 years to learn how to do this.
Mm.
And it does no good if I keep that to myself. So I share it. I'm just,
Right.
come on down. Let's get you going.
That's right.
Amen.
Me helping you, helping you. So,
Exactly. That's how you get blessed.
right.
Keeping it to yourself. You need blessing.
Right. That's right. So
So that being said, if you need a kitchen space to rent, these are
Yeah.
your people.
yeah,
These
Check
are where
us-
you want to go. Trust me, there's been enough money put into this kitchen.
yeah,
I'm not gonna put the number out there. It's
Right.
it's irrelevant, but I will tell you, it's done properly. It's done professionally, and it's a place that you can, if you're starting a business or just need a kitchen for whatever, it is a place to.
That sounds
To
like
get
a
it on
pretty
the
cool concept.
Yeah.
Because they, it's off subject a little bit, but where my son stays in Indiana, they have a place like that with garages.
yeah,
It's fully set up. It's got, your big toolboxes, everything. You go in there, rent it for the night. You can go and change transmission out if you want.
That's
Oh,
to.
we were
exactly
just
what-
talking about that.
that's what we was just talking about. Me and my buddy.
I mean, there's like 8 of them, and they are
Yeah.
top notch.
Yeah.
The
How do you keep,
black and
how
white.
do you keep track of the tools?
Well, you're not gonna let
Yeah.
Hector, come in. How much?
Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen. These guys are most of the time. The cars are, $100,000 show cars that they put
Yeah.
in there to work,
Yeah.
but they just don't have a shop.
Right. That's what we were just talking about this afternoon. Me and my best friend, we talked about it a couple years ago. It's like we need to just buy an old garage. Just it's got the lifts in it, and just rent it out to mechanics, and then we get to use it if we need it because we
Yeah.
own it. Because that's one. We both hate working on cars because we don't have a lift.
Yeah.
So we can
Yeah.
get them cars up off the ground, and that would be perfect in Augusta.
Absolutely.
Because I was like, what kind of business is that? And I pulled in just to ask. And they're like, yeah, you can lease these. I was like, really?
That would be so
Lease the
awesome.
tools, whatever you need.
Yeah.
You can lease, lease whatever.
Yeah.
If you got your own stuff, you can put your
Right.
car trailer up there and
Yeah.
offload it.
Our garage would be full of Harbor Freight tools for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, pretty colored boxes.
Yeah. Okay, Chuck. So tell everybody where you're at now. I mean, obviously, you're doing a lot better than you were.
Yeah. So I mean, I get my lung function is healing daily.
Mhm.
It's getting better. I still have minimal function in my arm. I did lose my function in my left hand. I do have some nerve damage, muscle damage, stuff like that. Of course, when you lose 100 pounds of what they consider 80% of that was muscle, so you're going to have some leftover residual issues. But
We're gonna work on that. But.
yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to hit this gym in Harlem. I know it's
Be careful. I heard it's sketchy.
I know, right? I heard he's hard on you. But yeah.
I get results.
That's right. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm dealing with, issues that, I mean, I can't complain. I mean,
Yeah.
I say it all the time. I got 1,000 things to complain about, but why?
Yeah.
At least I'm here to complain about it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I mean, what good is it going to do to be upset about it? There's a purpose
They
for
ordered
it.
it.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't worry about it. The hospitals get the money when they get the money.
yeah.
Other
Other
keeping
than
it alive, you're gonna get the money.
yeah,
If I'm gone, you ain't.
really, other than my lung function, it's not much. It's not far off of where I was. I was already, burnt out from climbing steps for 30 years. So, my lung function's what's got me worse.
Now, do they have you just doing breathing treatments or anything to
No.
help with that? It's just
His
me.
lungs can't do that at all.
Really.
No, they do a little test and tell you, if they give you a inhaler, and if you have, I want to say you have to have at least 7% increase for them to prescribe it, and I had no increase, so it didn't help.
Wow.
So it's just now I've been diagnosed with interstitial lung disease. That is typically a progressive disease. Mine is called regressive. So they fully expect it to
Heal.
not heal 100%, but not get worse.
Okay.
So
He's got scarring, that's for sure.
yeah, I mean, my lungs are full. Like I said on the last time we were here, in early October, that first week of October, my lungs were 100% scarred, fibrotic, no lung function. So no matter how much air they pushed in, it would only process a very minuscule amount.
Wow.
So for me to be able to breathe on my own, without oxygen,
It's a
what do
miracle.
I have to complain about?
Right,
You know,
right.
I mean, I can't lay on my back and breathe. I'll get over that.
Yeah.
So,
And God can heal that too.
oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it's all in His time.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, there's issues, but we're I'm just hopeful, and every day to notice a little different. The worst part is getting used to not having the full function of my left hand, which is my dominant hand.
Yeah.
I've had to learn how to do everything with my right hand.
I'm left-handed too.
Yeah.
Mm.
So as you can see, I don't trust a razor with my left hand. Just gonna do it.
Yeah.
But,
Because I've got nerve damage through my left leg down to my foot, so it's pretty much shot. So I know some of what you're going through. It's just
yeah.
He does.
So I have neuropathy in both feet. I can't feel the bottoms of my feet at all. I can't feel my toes. What I do feel is pain.
right. You feel it because
Right.
I tell my wife that I have neuropathy in both my feet, and it's numb. It feels like you've been sitting on the toilet for
Right.
a long time, and
Right. They're just asleep.
right, and they seem to think, well, it don't hurt, but it hurts.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'm very nice and I'm handling it well. Sometimes I do not handle it at all.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So give me some grace. I'm just hurting.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed is my nail beds, whether it's on my toes or on my fingers, they always hurt. They throb.
Yeah.
And I think that's nerves, at the very tips,
Yeah. I got probably some sandals that do the stimulation now, so I shock them like, you need to turn that up high. Yeah, it's all the way up.
Yeah.
I need a bigger one.
Might need to check that out. They got that on Amazon.
Yeah, they do. And it makes my feet, I can function.
Right.
It feels real good while it's doing it. So my grandkids enjoy it. Put your foot in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got I got a TENS unit. I'm strapped up in my back, my whole leg over here, plus my feet now. So
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
Oh wow.
Love it.
You just need to get shocked. Like shock.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it seems to work.
Yeah.
I mean, was it holistic? I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how Bruce Lee came back from his back. He had an old power plant looking thing hooked up his back.
Mm.
But I say he came back, broken back. So
He's a unique specimen though.
Yeah.
I'm unique too.
Well, you couldn't play ping pong with your nunchucks. Have you seen that video?
Yes, you do know that's creative. I could play it with my pinky finger with the computer doing it for me. So
That's right.
I could play Pong though. Boom, boom.
Silly.
That's an awesome. Just awesome. I know. I hate you had to go through it, but to live to tell about it.
Right. Yeah, that's.
I mean, you're extremely strong, and then you also have a partner that's extremely strong
Right.
because, like you said, you were out of it, but you were still fighting for your life.
Right.
She was praying for your life,
Right.
And fighting too.
Yeah,
Fighting.
Yeah.
She probably surpassed her belief in her strength. I mean,
Right.
through this process, you know what I mean? Because
Oh, yeah.
we never know how we're going to handle situations like that until we're put in the middle of them. You know what I mean? I mean, I couldn't imagine if that was my wife that was laying in a hospital bed for that many months, and
I mean,
my house would be in shambles about to take care of
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
I'll tell you that right now, that
Yeah.
my life would be upside down if
and she wake up and say, "How's the dog?" Oh man,
we got dogs.
How long have I been out? 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, because you had to do. Now you might have been in a situation where you were doing it all anyway, and he was just showing up, say, "Hey, I'm a happy husband."
That's right.
That's right. My wife wouldn't miss a beat. She'd keep right on going. Yeah, he's in the hospital. But I mean, how was it for you? I mean, did you have to learn? I mean, did you handle the bills already? Did you,
No, I had to learn everything.
Right. Okay. So you were doing it
was
all
rough. Yeah.
all on your own.
Yeah.
I can imagine just breaking out in sweat trying to figure out passwords and stuff. Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't answer this email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Yeah, that
definitely
was rough.
the stuff on the business side, she didn't know anything about it.
Mm-mm.
Because I mean, that was all in my head. I didn't really have anything on paper much.
mm,
So yeah, she had to figure all that out. If she didn't figure that out, definitely would have lost all that. So
right,
yeah, so yeah,
And that ain't even the, like I had to hire a lawyer because something that everybody should learn at our age, because we wasn't thinking about this. We're young, you don't
Right.
think these things
live
happen.
forever.
Right.
Mhm.
So we didn't have a power of attorney
Mm.
set in place.
Yeah.
And so when he got intubated, he couldn't make decisions on his own.
Right.
So then they was like, well, you can't do nothing. Like, I'm his wife. Nope. You have to go. So I had to go fight it through the court system and hire an attorney to,
Unbelievable.
I'll tell you, man. I mean, I understand why stuff like this is put into place for the deadbeats that are going to wreck their partners' lives and stuff. But
right,
if you put under your spouse should be able to handle
Yes.
right,
all areas of it.
I mean, even if it's a limited
Yeah.
power of attorney. Well, you can do this, but you can't do that. Well, I
Right.
don't need to do that. I need to do this.
right.
So,
Definitely stuff that needs to be done. If you got the opportunity to do it, do it.
Yeah.
We need to go through and make sure all ours is right again. So
mhm.
make sure everything's up. There's still stuff we haven't done that would benefit, if something happened to either one of us, to make sure that the kids are taken care of.
Well, just like everyone said, I think a lot of people don't think, well, after the age of 50 or 60, I can worry about my will and that type of
Right.
thing. You know what I mean? And that's just not the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We really have got to be proactive in that,
Yeah,
have that stuff in writing and
Yeah.
legal before
Yeah.
anything could possibly happen, because
right.
none of us are guaranteed to make it home today.
yeah, even something as simple as a car, have and or,
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Know. So,
Oh, I think we've been fortunate enough to learn it through deaths in the family in the past. My mother's parents passed, and
Right.
it's a trickle down effect. She
Yeah.
learned, so now she's she's
yeah.
taught us. Like she's been on me ever since her dad passed away. Get your will done, get your will done. You know what I mean? Because he didn't have some stuff in writing, and it took just forever to
Right.
handle the slightest little legal stuff.
Yeah,
To get rid of
I guess
cars and houses and stuff.
I mean, it's still rough, even when you got everything in right.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's a lot better than when you don't. So,
It's just not as easy as people I think believe it is. Like, oh, if I pass everything to my wife, and
right.
that's not the case.
Yeah.
I mean, she can do what she wants for the time being until they find out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
That is
Life's a
true.
lot more difficult than we know it is on the legal side of it.
Right.
well, tell more about your business, like where it's located and name again and all that good stuff.
So it's Base Ops Kitchen. We're on Peach Orchard Road, 2430 Peach Orchard Road. We're on the south side, Richmond County. So yeah, I mean it's 4,800 square foot commercial kitchen. We offer food storage. We offer all the commercial equipment. I mean, I would say state of the art, but it's not all brand new equipment, but we do offer the commercial grade stuff. So, refrigeration, long-term storage, all kinds of good stuff.
How do they get a hold of you?
You can reach me at 706-814-5007.
I'm assuming
Or
you got a
at-
website. Yeah.
Well, our website's not up and running yet, but we are always active on Base Ops Kitchen at Facebook.
Okay.
So
My son
That's
can do your Facebook. I mean, your website for you.
that's what I need. I need somebody that's got artistic abilities to do it. So,
They've got these formats now. All
Yeah.
you do is just like plug and play.
Yeah.
You
just got to have that mindset to know how to do that.
A lot of pictures. It's like,
my son would love to do it for you.
Yeah.
Hope people need to look at pictures.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While y'all, you training him, it's not gonna be looking him.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, they stay not too far from me.
Yeah,
so.
we live right in the corner. So.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You don't expect him to jog to your house.
No.
It'll be a slow walk.
I wouldn't expect you to jog to my house.
I hope you don't even want me to jog up the driveway.
We just
I want you to FaceTime because you better be jogging.
We just got to get him there.
That's right.
And then,
Yeah.
then worry about the running part.
Yeah. So, I'm still learning how to get up early. I got up at 4:30 in the morning for like 25, 30 years. Now I'm retired disabled. I don't get up anymore. You know. So yeah, I got to get my butt out of bed early. But yeah.
So, you said that the kids were, with family and friends or whatnot while all this was going on. How did they handle it with, the situation that he was in?
It was stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
imagine that was
Yeah.
pretty tough on them.
And I think it still gets to them at times.
Mhm.
Yeah. We all have moments still,
Right.
Yeah. Still trying to process through everything
Mhm.
slowly and
Are you seeking help on that, or are you just letting the Lord
from the
take care of
Lord.
it? Right.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, we're always looking.
Right.
Anybody
Yeah.
want to reach out?
Yeah.
I did try to reach out to somebody, but she said she was booked. So
Mhm. But talking's always good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming the youngest is 12.
No,
He's 14 now. He'll be 15 in January.
So
Now.
when it happened, the youngest was
He was
12, though,
12.
right? So they were all of age. They understood the circumstances.
Oh,
I mean, because they
Well, at that time, if they were looking at the news, the death count.
well, right. I'm sure that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I can only imagine the thoughts that they had, that they were having. Is dad even coming home?
And the
You know what I
kids,
mean?
the kids that were around probably wasn't helping either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave Mackenzie alone on that one. She would kill me if I told that story.
She's watching. She'll probably
Yeah.
laugh.
I was about to say, I thought I saw
She
Mackenzie
is
on
Yeah.
there.
watching.
I do, yeah.
She, yeah. So it definitely was. It affected the kids, Yeah, I mean, our oldest was living, down in Florida at the time, so she was, not knowing when she was going to get the call,
Mm.
And then have to come here.
Yeah.
Because she came, when she could. And then
It's probably even harder not being in town,
Right.
Living out of town.
Yeah. And then
And she worked for a doctor at the time, so
She was working for a daughter.
mhm.
she's a nurse.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So she was seeing it firsthand
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
COVID was doing to people
Right.
because she was seeing it in the
Right.
hospital.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Mackenzie actually, she just went back to school her junior year. So, yeah, right? Was it junior year?
It was sophomore year, I think, at the end.
Yeah, maybe. I know. I was out of the hospital in time to watch her walk.
Yeah.
She
Oh, yeah, it was
graduated
junior.
with,
I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
but yeah. So she was sophomore, junior year,
Yeah.
something like that. Where I think it was junior year.
Yeah, it was.
Because when she went back to school is when I got sick.
Yeah.
But that's where it went around school and then ended up coming home. So
Yeah.
it's kind of outburt. But
So it's her fault. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
She
Nobody's
did it.
fault.
Yeah.
She
No.
did it.
No,
Now we know whose fault it was.
Yeah.
Oh, it was mine. I was
Yeah.
hard headed.
I'm talking about the Chinese.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
the China
Chinese.
virus.
China virus.
That China virus. That's, man, I'm glad we can tell the truth here.
That's right. That's the voice of truth.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, well, through all this, Chuck and April, I mean, how has your faith grown? I'm assuming it has. I'd imagine. I'm pretty sure it has. How have you recognized that your faith has grown through this process?
Oh man. I always thought that I couldn't be any closer to Christ, but now, after seeing what He's done, firsthand,
Yeah.
I got to see it. I study harder to find, to where He's talking to me.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's like, it's like every passage is telling me
more
something.
meaningful.
Yeah, it's like it's telling me I can find a piece of my story. See, I made a mistake when I was just several years ago. somehow or another it'd come up where somebody wanted, what's your testimony? And I was like, man, I'm just average. I don't have a testimony. I mean, I did all the dumb stuff that teenagers do in 20s and all that, but I didn't, like, I don't have this aha moment where God just stepped in and changed me and made me this new and all. It's not like, it's like I was constantly, I've always loved Jesus. Always have. It's like I've never, I stepped away, and I did my own thing, but I always knew he was there.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was, so it wasn't a huge angelic moment of salvation. And, when I asked God to save me, I didn't ask him to save me from Satan because he'd already done that years ago. I asked him to save me from myself. Stop me from killing me. So, but now when I read scripture, like every passage, I find a piece of my testimony in it.
Wow.
Like everywhere, like all the time, not just this. I can look back at, I buried my dad at 17 and that changed my life. I turned to drugs for support instead of God. So, but, I know that just 6 to 8 months, a year before that is when I actually, as a, I guess, responsible teenager, is when I asked Christ into my heart. So I was told that, prepare. It's not, huge angels waiting outside the door to protect you. It's the devil's right there and he's waiting to catch you. And he did. He jumped all over me, and then 6 months, 8 months later, I buried my dad. So my life went upside down from there for a couple of years. But my, I can't. I don't know how to put it in words what my faith is now compared to what it was. But I enjoy studying His Word more. I don't get bored with it. And it makes sense. You know what I mean? It's like everything I study. Just we went through it today. Just reading a single verse, you could take a notebook full of stuff out of it.
That's right.
Like wow. It's like everything has so much more meaning now.
Awesome. How about you?
I found that there's something that God's always willing to teach you if you listen. And I think it took him to get sick, for me to get stronger with him and to look for just more signs, little signs, and just like one I just shared on my Facebook page. We walking through the ICU halls, during Christmas time, they had like snowmen and, Santa Claus's stickers all over the doors when you walk in, but his had the nativity scene. And to me, that was a sign that God was there. He was sending signs all around. And so when you look for signs, he's there. And that's something that I think he taught me. Keep your eyes open, because he's always around if you are willing to receive him.
That's good right there.
It is.
Just he was just reminding you that he's always there when you don't notice him.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's powerful. That's pretty good.
It grew me stronger, that's for sure.
I
There's
bet.
no doubt.
Well, I mean, I could imagine that, having a near-death experience for the both of y'all, that there's if that don't draw you closer to God, I don't know what will.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
How about your kids' faith? I mean, are they all in church? Or?
No, not exactly.
Yeah. Our son attends with us every once in a while, but not, they don't. I mean, our daughters are older; they're all adulting. So, yeah, our son, he goes with us. He's maybe it's wrong. I should make him get up and go. It shouldn't be a question, but I got to let God work on him.
God's got to do it. I mean,
Right, yeah.
I mean,
know,
You can drag them to church, but
right. I don't want to, but, and I wasn't dragged to church.
Right.
I mean, as a young child, yeah, we went to church all the time, but I grew up in and out of church with friends, you know, people that I was hanging out with. Hey, you want to stay the night Saturday night? Yeah, let's go to church in the morning. That's kind of, you just did it.
right.
You know, if you want to stay here Saturday, you got to bring something to wear to
Yeah.
church tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, we're going
So
to
that's
church
just-
tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the way we grew up. So, I want my kids to desire it on their own.
Yeah, the
You
one.
know, right.
Mhm.
I mean, if I push them, then it's just going to feel like a chore. So I do ask my kids to at least read. You know, if you're not going to do anything else, just at least try to learn the word. You know,
Yeah.
if you don't
know the word.
yeah. I mean, there's always good stuff in there.
And
So.
that for sure is something I know that they're doing, especially my oldest. One of them has moved out. But she tells me, Mom, I'm still doing my devotions. So that's
That's
good. And then my son, we went to the singing Christmas tree last year
Mhm.
and he fell in love with it. So he's begging to go again. So
Yeah.
we'll be taking him. So, I mean,
Yeah.
God's working on him.
That's right.
It's going to
Amen.
take time, but
Right.
he's there.
Right now it's hunting season, so it's really tough to get him to do anything.
But
he wants to go hang in a tree, or he wants to hang on a tree or on a dock somewhere.
well, I mean, that's
Can't say I blame him.
right. I mean, that's being close to God. you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, if that's where he talks to him.
Hey, I
that's
prayed
good
every
for me.
morning. I'm in a deer stand.
Yeah.
I'm not praying every morning anyways, but deer stand, when
Right.
watching that sun come up,
Oh, yeah.
you can't help
Yeah.
but talk to the Lord when you're out
Yeah.
there.
And then while you're there, just, hey, can you let that trophy walk by me?
Yeah.
Just,
Oh, I need some more jackets. Oh,
Well, guys, we are out of time. We appreciate y'all coming back on. It was
Oh, yeah.
awesome to get your story out there, and I know it's
Yeah,
impacted
phenomenal.
a
I mean,
bunch of people. We just
we appreciate the opportunity.
yeah, just
thank
blown
y'all for
away.
sharing it with us.
Pretty sure you got more left to tell. So
Yeah,
just
we can,
feel free to come back anytime,
yeah. Well,
especially when Mark and Mike in here, so we can.
Let you on in a couple months. Give us an update on how things
there
are
you
going.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. No, shout out to your business one more time.
Base Ops Kitchen.
Base Ops Kitchen.
Yeah.
Check it out on Facebook.
Yeah, you can look at it on
And,
Facebook. And the phone number is 706-814-5007.
and your church,
Trinity Baptist Ministries.
okay, Pastor.
Pastor Matt Moore.
Yeah, more.
Yeah.
All right.
We got
Shout
a
out to
handful
them.
of pastors now. Pastor Matt's our lead pastor. Yeah, he's our,
All right, guys. We thank y'all for tuning in to WUCC 99.9 The Way. We'll see y'all next week at 7 p.m. Love y'all.